Senator Tim Cullen of Janesville was first elected in 1974, serving 12 years and elected majority leader 3 times.
He left the Senate to serve briefly in Tommy Thompson's cabinet. He was then re-elected in 2010. He did not seek re-election last year. He certainly had a ringside seat to Wisconsin politics, and that is the title of his new book, which is just being released this week. And Senator Tim Cullen joining us now to talk about Ringside Seat. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Congratulations on the book.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Nice of you to have me.
What was the impetus to write this book?
Well, I think it was the fact that I served in 2 different eras. That I was there in the 70s, gone for 24 years, and then back, and then how different it was when I went back compared to the way it was when I was there the first time.
Talk about that a little bit. How was it different?
Well, in a lot of ways, I mean, in his whole chapter on just the differences between 75 and 2010, but a big part of it was that the campaigns are now being run centrally from Madison. The legislative leaders ran campaigns, picked candidates, got involved in primaries. The sheer volume of money and secret money, which exists now, which didn't exist then. And then also, within the Democrats in the legislature then, there were certainly liberal Democrats, there were middle-of-the-road Democrats, and there were 2 or 3 or 4 pretty conservative Democrats in the Democratic side. And on the Republican side, the same kind of thing. There were conservative Republicans, but moderate to old progressives actually were still there, like Tiny Krieger. So the 2 parties kind of self-policed themselves and governed closer to the political center because they had to, because that's what the makeup of their caucuses were. And when I came back, the 2 parties are much more clearly divided between the left and the right.
Is there the difference in the way the state is being governed that is responsible for that?
Well, I think for these last 4 years, a big part of that is because this governor, and I talk about the previous 12 governors back in 1950 to Walter Kohler, the previous 12 governors up to Scott Walker, and how they all govern for the reasons I go into, near the center. The Republicans center right, Democrats center left, and then Governor Walker just went right to the right and took a legislature that was willing to do it with him. So that's a very different thing than what Wisconsin had been used to for literally 60 years.
So that's a difference.
Big difference.
Well, you were part of the 14 senators that left the state during the Act 10 debate here.
You heard about that.
Yeah. And I understand that is when you first thought, I should write a book about this. Is that right?
No, I actually thought about this for a few years, even before that. But then I didn't know I was going back to the state senate, so it's going to be a different book about public sector versus private sector kind of. But it was really when I was down there and got back, I really realized when I was there, I say in the book, you know, I don't know how I got here. And I meant not how I got in Illinois, but how politics had got to where it was, where you had a governor trying to jam through a complete destruction of public employee unions, and me and the Democratic senators sitting in Illinois. I'm going, how could this happen compared to what I had known, you know, a quarter century before? So it was an impact for sure.
Is there any way to help this divide, to get rid of this divide between the 2 parties?
I think the biggest way it's going to happen is we're going to have another governor. It's going to be a post-Walker era.
That's what's going to take.
I think it's going to take that. And you're going to have a governor, whether that person could be a Republican or a Democrat, who says to the public, I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to try to govern with the support of as much of the state as I can, 65% of the state. I want them all of you on my side, sort of the way Tommy Thompson did it. It's going to take a strong person to do that because they're going to irritate their base, whether they're a Democrat or Republican. But I think that's going to be the beginning, the one big step that would help the most. Plus, I think the general public doesn't like being angry at their neighbor or the person they work with over politics. And that's not what they were used to most of their life. And they do want to go back, I think, to a more civilized way of doing things.
What are you doing with the proceeds from your book?
I'm giving all my profits to a foundation I started in Janesville, which provides scholarship money for students of color who are graduating from Janesville high schools who want to become teachers. So the scholarships, we have an arrangement with them. You want to be a teacher, you go study to be a teacher, get your certificate, we'll provide the scholarships, and then you agree to come back and teach in Janesville. Because Janesville's like a lot of communities, Madison included, a lot of them, where the populations become very racially diverse, but the teacher corps, through no fault of the teachers, is almost all white. And so I've always thought it kind of makes sense that a picture of the two groups, the teachers and the students, ought to kind of look a little more like each other. I think it helps. And the proceeds going to there. The book this weekend available in stores? It should be in a couple bookstores in Madison, Mystery to Me and the University Bookstore by Saturday morning. And Amazon and all the other places. And it's online at Amazon. What a wonderful Christmas gift. Great idea. Great idea. Colin, great to see you again. Happy holidays.
Congratulations
Thank you very
on
much,
the book.
Steve.
Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.